You have to. You can't scale if you don't have it.
So the big question is, what are the top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams, and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? If you ever thought about this, you're not alone. No one has been able to get the answers until now.
We spent the last few years helping agents sell billions in real estate, rubbing shoulders with top producers, which got us thinking, how can we expose more people to these insights to help raise the standard in the whole real estate industry? We then realized that we could help bridge the gap by getting the secrets from the best of the best so that you can succeed. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
You were getting up, so let's say like timeline, you kind of did 10 million, which is insane. And then you did like 15, 20 odd million up to what, year 4? And then where did the team start then? So like you were like crushing it out. When did you kind of transition into the team lead, running a team and all that stuff?
That started to happen, I would say, in like the end of year 3 going into year 4, where I was bringing in enough business where the wheels started to turn. And this happens naturally, like, okay, you're doing 15 million a year. Do you want to stay on the team, or do you want to go on your own? Do you want to start your own team? What do you want to do? And like that was going through my head, obviously. And I didn't like rush into any type of decisions. I actually like thoroughly thought about it and sat with Val and talked to him about that and was just open about it. Like, these are my thoughts. But really, for me, I'm like, why would I start my own thing when I'm already on a top 3 team in South Jersey? Why not stay here, build this if I can become a partner? Right. So I offered that proposition, talked to Val about it, and he, gratefully so said, sounds good. And it took a while. It took like a year for us to hash out how that partnership would work, how we were going to make things, grow and transition. But for him, it was a great move. For me, it was a great move. And we took the team from that time, was doing about 60 million to, now do 100 million. And it's only been 2 years. So we've doubled the business. Yeah.
Yeah. And was it like 80 million the next year? Like, was there any growth first year, or was the transition period rocky? So it stayed at 60 and then it's jumped?
It was like 60, 65. My first year was 2020, which was a crazy year.
Pandemic.
I think we made it official like that November. So it was like, November of 2019 where I became like a managing partner. And then 2020 was my first year. We did 79 million that year. So we did have significant growth. And then into this year now, we're about to surpass 100 million in the next, week or two.
You're basically growing 33% year over year.
Yeah.
Basically, which is fucking enormous. Like for a company that big doing that much volume to grow it over 30% year over year is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, our goal was let's get to 80, let's get to 80. And we thought it would be maybe increments like that, 5 million or so a year, punch it up, grow the team, whatever it may be. And obviously the real estate market has caught fire and that's helped, but we've done a lot of implementation within the team to help grow that as well. And that's the great bond and sort of team that me and Val created, because he's got 40 years or almost 40 years of business knowledge. He's like an encyclopedia of real estate, right? The guy knows everything about real estate in this area and is a wealth of knowledge. Where I come in, I'm more of like the investor base and the social media and the CRM side is like where I like to help grow the business. And I've hired some awesome people over the past couple of years that have really been a benefit to us. Like our staff is phenomenal. The agents that we have on the team we're all tight. It's a great camaraderie that helps. So just having that overall flow of everything, improving our social media, our CRMs, our systems, and then the wealth of knowledge and the experience of 40 years has just like come together like a huge snowball, and it's grown very fast.
What are you guys doing specifically to have such enormous growth of 33% year over year? Like, because right now we're talking about I'm good at social media, the CRMs. I heard you say systems, and there's some leverage there. But what are the specific things that the audience who's listening to this, if they want to R&D, aka rip off and duplicate what you guys are doing in their market, what is that one needle mover for you guys that you have, that has made that difference?
Yeah. So it depends who you ask, right? If you ask me, it's different. If you ask Val, it's one thing.
But I know you guys are the relationship that you and Val have is special.
Yeah.
So what he's going to tell you is, contributes to your growth, and what you're going to say. So give us both of those.
Yeah. So, and I think that the growth is because of both, right? So for him and for me, because I agree on this, it is events and being out in public, right? So he is constantly giving back. Like tomorrow we have this thing called Wolf Stock. It is a fundraiser for the animal shelter here. And, it's going, we're going to be there. We're going to have the whole team there. We're going to be there all day. It's going to raise a lot of money for the animal shelter. It's going to save a lot of animals. And that's something that he's actually passionate about, right? So Val loves animals and pets. So this isn't like some bogus crap just to, get publicity. Like he does things that he cares about, and then it's out in public. And a lot of people know it. A lot of people see it. It helps a lot of people, and people can relate to it. Do you know what I mean? And you build the relationships that way. And that's just one example. I mean, we're doing stuff all the time. We host client events. We host, fundraising events. We do golf outings. We do a lot of things within the community that keep us top of mind and present in the local neighborhoods. And then from my perspective, right, it's very similar to that. But I'm more about, okay, how do we connect with the people that we don't know, or that don't come to our events, or that don't see us? And that is social media, boosting our online presence in the local community, but, gaining that trust through the people we don't know. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. And it is putting out there, not just all the homes that we sell, right? But putting out there the fundraisers that we do, or putting out there like the stupid stuff that we have fun with when we go golfing or whatever, like the stuff people can relate to.
Yeah, for sure.
Putting that stuff on social media and gaining, your friendships or trust through people you don't necessarily know yet, but when they're ready to buy, they'll reach out to you.
This is the amalgamation of old school and new school working together.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Rather than fighting, you find a lot of the times they clash because it's like, no, this is the way to do it. I've done it this way for 30 years. And, Val's obviously not closed-minded to kind of new stuff.
He's not.
Which a lot of the old guard, at least, let's say, or a lot of the ones you hear of are very like, no, this is the way we do it. We're not doing any of this social shit. The internet's a fad. And we're going back. And that's okay, because they will teeter off and the new generation will obviously take over. And that's just kind of what will end up happening.
Right.
Like, their stuff still works. They'll work their sphere and they'll have that income, and that's great. But like, then it's blatantly your new money and his old money, and it's like we're just gonna join.
Right.
So it's actually great to hear, because I think you're the first actually we've had on where there has been obviously there's obviously a big age difference, experience difference is obviously huge, and yet you've actually, well, he's open and listened, and you've had the ideas and proved your worth in 10 million in your first full year, where he's gone, okay, this cat's real.
I remember meeting Val for the first time, and I remember you talking him into like us doing headshots for him. This is back when I was still in my corporate job and it was just starting out. You calling me for your listing photos, right? So we've come a really long way.
Yeah.
You're like explaining to him like what a drone shot is for your listing photos. And he's generally like one of the, I think, most open-minded individuals, because I remember you telling me like the strategies that you wanted to bring into the team. He never said no. He always said, let's have a conversation. And he let you just run with it. He didn't babysit you, which I think he, in a way, he really empowered you to do your own thing and have your own brand while still leveraging everything he's done over the last however long he's been in business. Right?
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely very open-minded. He may not want to do certain things, but he's open to them being done. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a great partnership to have, and I mean, definitely, and an interesting one too, because of the different concepts. You know, he's like, let's put an ad in the magazine. I'm like, you know, sometimes it's great, you know what I mean? But sometimes you know, I'm like, how about Facebook or Instagram? You know what I mean?
One of the things that I think we don't appreciate is like, this is just like a stupid thing, right? You know, like you go on YouTube now and there is these like phenomenal like action scenes that are filmed by drones with cameras. And you just think like, what, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that was a guy in a helicopter hung out the side with a giant camera on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And that was like, this is high tech. And yet now you can go, I'm going to get a drone shot. And anyone else like, that's just never been possible ever.
No.
Like, unless you had a helicopter that you could go and borrow, which you wouldn't.
I remember this guy. I remember Peter Michael. Like, we were in Vegas, and he's like, "You want to come?"
Dude, one of the most scariest experiences ever.
He's like, he's got this backpack. I'm like, bro, you look like a terrorist or something right now. What are you gonna do with that backpack? He like puts it down in the middle of the sidewalk. Brings out all these like robotic things. He's got like his drone out in like 30 seconds flying over the strip. I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, over the strip in front of the Bellagio, my hands are sweating. They're shaking because technically at that
There's like
time,
no drone signs everywhere.
No drone. We can talk about it now because it's been a few years, but I remember like sweating bullets, getting up super early or super late at night to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So,
I believe you two have just broken the first rule of Vegas, though, right? It's like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Honestly, next you two are going to be on about Fight Club. Listen, let's just not.
Let's not even go there, you know?
So where you're at now, obviously you're in a phenomenal place, right? 100 million. And it sounds like, you know, you guys are going to keep growing. There's no sign of it slowing. But the next part of what you do, and you spend a lot of time.
Wait, I have one more question before we move into the next part. It's about team sales and your involvement in your team, your day-to-day. Do you coach with your agents? What does that look like? So if somebody's trying to grow, I know you guys have a partnership, but what about like growing and investing in the agents? What's that level of commitment that you guys are you know, because you said you have a camaraderie.
Yeah. So,
you know?
I mean, every agent's different. Everyone wants different things. We have agents on our team that don't use our CRM because that's not how they develop business. And we have agents that love the CRM and that's how they generate business. So every agent's different and they all have their own strong suits. And that's like huge for us is we have such a diverse group of agents and we have good agents. I mean, we've got agents that have been in the business way longer than me and they're very good. And every year they're doing 7, 10, 12 million on their own. They have their own connections. You know, Rose is phenomenal, has been in the business for, 15 years, has great connections to the Eagles and other sports franchises. And she is extremely self-sufficient. She doesn't need any type of coaching. You know what I mean? She's super knowledgeable and, you know, is just someone that enjoys that we have systems in place. We have a staff that helps. We have processing. We have all of that. She doesn't have to worry about it. So she can just run her business and the back end's taken care of. And then we've got brand new agents that are like a year or two in the business and they're just cutting their teeth, you know, and trying to get things rolling. So it's really just like trying to get to know the agents. What are their strong suits? Where are they going to excel? Some of them are going to do well with investors. Some of them are going to do well with CRMs. Some of them aren't going to. Some of them have a great network because, you know, they're in, you know, whatever it may be, acting or something like that. They do something with a tight community and they have to leverage those. Some of them are parents, you know what I mean? And they're involved with the school system. So that's where they should focus their time. It's really like learning your agents, seeing what connections, they have what they enjoy doing and where they would excel, and then just pushing them to learn that. You know what I mean? And then it's on them to sort of generate their business, because it is a self-sufficient business. If you don't want to work for it in real estate, you will not get the business, even if it's right in front of you.
So as far as your personal production goes, where are you at as far as for the year? Or
I'm probably right around 25 million so far.
So what you're telling me is that you're at about 25 million. We're in the middle of September, almost the end of September, and you still find time to be involved in the team, coach them, meet people where they are at, and pour into them in the middle of doing your own lead gen, prospecting, having systems, being a managing partner, and just getting it done.
Yeah, and then
did I hear that correctly?
That's look. There's a lot of people I lean on for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like I have, in the best. I feel like the best.
So this isn't a Brian Colonna show.
No,
is that what you're telling me?
No. I would like shrivel up and like collapse if it.
So you're saying it's okay to ask for help?
Yeah, you have to. You can't scale if you don't have it. You know what I mean? You have to bring on good staff. Now, I'm not saying you do that when you're doing 5 or 10 million. Like there, you just run around. But as you gain the business, like you have to bring on someone who does your social media or your marketing. You have to do people that do processing. You have to bring on listing coordinators. And then you have to have agents in different roles too that can help with the team and benefit from that, because there's just no way to do it all. Yeah, like I try to touch everything, but I can't be immersed in everything, because I wouldn't. It would be counterproductive.
Yeah,
leverage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all about leverage. Yeah, this is something that just appears over and over again. You've actually touched on some amazing points that, like, just leveraging activities you do. I forget who we had on previously, and the school with their children was one of them. It was like mum and dad's at the gate, and they just sat chatting to them, and then they got to know them over years, and their kids were growing up. And then it was like when they wanted to buy or sell, it was like, oh, well, X, like I speak to him all the time, so I'll just give him a call, right? Yeah. And then they were getting deals from like literally just standing waiting for their kids, right?
Yeah. What's so funny is like there should be a comedy skit on this. Is like when there's two parents on the same team that are both agents, they're like, whose side are you on? Huh? That happens with me all the time. You know what I mean? Because like I coach, I'm just joking about that. It's usually like a very cool relationship, because we'll like, talk crap and tell everyone how crazy the business is and just make fun of it. You know what I mean? And everyone always wants to ask you real estate questions. When's the top? What's going on here? When's it going to slow down? It's just general conversations. People are all curious about real estate. Everyone is.
That is actually one of the best things about real estate is like, basically everyone is interested in it at some degree or some level. Like, it's like, they might not be interested in buying, but they're curious about the market. Mm-hmm. Is it going up still? Is it going down? I think it's going to crash. I think it's going to keep, even though they've got no interest, it's like that is their level of interest is what the fuck is going on? Like, they're batting one of the sides, because you just can't avoid it. Like no one can avoid it. It's literally unavoidable, unless you're living.
We all need a place to live, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. Now, before you go, we're giving access to a private training we did where we revealed the top 3 niches to get listings today completely for free. So if you want access, you can go and download that training at eliteagentsecrets.com. We're regularly releasing new trainings, guides and cheat sheets, so make sure to head over to eliteagentsecrets.com and sign up so you don't miss out.